right here on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All righty. Get on in here. It just happens to be a Wednesday here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau insurance agents. Well. Here we are on a Wednesday. The non-conference, for a lot of us anyway, is behind us. Up next are your big conference games. And I just made the statement a minute ago to Beaver. I said, I don't know what we're going to talk about today. Well, the thing is, excuse me, that statement means one thing in like June. But here this time of year, you know, it doesn't mean what it means in June. Well, all it means is, I don't know if we're going to be getting into looking ahead, picking games here. I'm fine with it. If you want to, I don't think that between now and Friday that how I would pick any of these games is going to change anyhow. So, I mean, if you want to pick games on a Wednesday, we can certainly do that and look ahead of the weekend that way. So get on in here. Hey to you, by the way, if you're on the live stream, YouTube or Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, feel free to type a comment in there, post it. It pops up from all those platforms. It comes into one computer screen here in the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, and it lines up all the comments in one nice, neat column. And then I can read them and click them, and then you can see them. So there's one way to be a part of the show. Another way is to text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776. Okay, that's the number to text, 885-3776. Country Pleasing Sausage. I had some of their original smoked sausage flavor for breakfast. It was good. It sure was good. You can call me on the junction phone. That way I get to hear your voice on this Wednesday. That'd be great. People get tired of hearing my voice. I get tired of hearing my voice. So call. Talk to Beaver first. That's a real treat. And then talk to me. We'll find out if it's a treat or not. 897-1059. It's a 601 number, 897-1059. We got to do some house cleaning with Beaver here. Hey, B.
Hey, Matt Wyatt.
You know, Beav, you know how some days you are busy or someone's distracting you and you're not able to respond right off. It's weird, but I know I have some sort of connection where, like, I know if you're there or not immediately. I don't even know how to explain that. I guess what I'm saying is just then, before you ever uttered one word on the air, I knew you were coming in. What do you call that?
I don't
Telepathy?
I don't know. That's kind of weird, Matt Wyatt.
Yeah, it's like a sixth sense. Speaking of,
it also came right after I was picking up some sarcasm. You said you can call and you talk to Beaver first, and that's always a treat.
Well, I did mean it. Are you familiar with the comedian Harlan Williams?
Yeah.
Have you ever watched any of his wacky stand-up stuff he's done over the years?
I know his movies, but I've never seen his stand-up.
Man, look, you talk about like genuinely funny, but off the wall, like a whole different kind of funny. Okay, is basically what Harlan is. But some people and comedians, they'll have these little, I don't know what you call them, like a crutch phrase that when they're sort of transitioning from one thing to another, they don't really have a punchline. They always go to that. You know what I mean? Like the guy who would keep the energy going by in between jokes, he would tap the mic and go, "Is this thing on?" You know, that sort of. Well, for Harlan Williams, it's always, "Well, this is a real treat. This is a real treat." He likes the word treat. So anyway, that's where I got. And if you haven't, Beaver, for your own entertainment, FYE, you need to go look up Harlan Williams' appearances on the Conan O'Brien show, whatever that show was called. Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Hilarious. No, Beeve, this is what I wanted to ask you. I didn't get a response from you when I texted you this yesterday. Little Debbie, Christmas tree cake, coffee creamer. Did you see it?
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember this now.
So, you know how, Beeve, we now live in an era where everything has to be Little Debbie, Christmas tree cake, everything. Candles, dip, everything's it. And so now we have a Little Debbie Christmas tree cake flavored coffee creamer. Your thoughts, sir?
I don't drink coffee, but I would definitely try that in some coffee.
Okay. Well, that's kind of my point, Beeve, is that you need, if there was ever a time to try coffee, this would be it if I can get a hold of some of that for you.
I'm not against it. And it's funny you brought up Christmas tree cake related business, because just this morning, and I thought about you, I didn't send it to you. I saw it on the gram or the Insta, whatever we're calling it these days. Now you can purchase, I think it was at Walmart too. You can get yourself either a 4.5 foot and or a 7 foot Christmas tree cake inflatable for your yard this Christmas.
Is that right? Wow. That's odd. It's one thing if it's a Christmas tree cake flavored edible something. It's another thing when it's just an inanimate object. You just look at it. Now we've gone way too far. I do think it's funny though, but we're still getting ahead of things. We haven't even had Halloween yet, Beef.
Yeah, I know. But that's where we are. We've talked about that, and there's no need to talk about my tight timelines because you know how I feel about my holiday timelines. But it sucks, and I hate it how we try to get so far ahead. Christmas, we're putting out candy corn for Halloween in July, and we're putting out inflatables for Christmas in September. Yeah, and it's just where we are now. And of course, as always, you'll agree, all this stuff that keeps coming out. Guess what doesn't come out early? Anything for Thanksgiving.
Nothing.
Thanksgiving gets no love these days.
Mm-mm. Well, and two things on that, Beaver. Okay, first I saw a really funny meme. It really was just somebody, it was text or whatever. But it said apparently Walmart expects me to put up my Christmas tree while eating turkey and dressing in my Halloween costume. And I thought, now that's pretty good. The other thing is this. Okay, Beaver, you talk about an off-the-wall topic on a Wednesday, but who cares? It's our show. We can do what we want, right? If we haven't been fired for off-the-wall stuff by this point, it's just not going to happen. Beaver, I am a huge fan of Charles Schulz, the creator of the Peanuts comic strip. Have I ever told you that? Or did you know that? Or have we talked about this?
We've spoken of Charles Schulz briefly, but yeah. And I know you enjoy them by the Snoopy laugh that you love so much, but I didn't know you were like a massive big-time fan. Yeah, I just am. I think part of it is deep down in my heart of hearts. Like, I've always been an artistic person. And once upon a time, I did a lot of drawing, painting, all that kind of stuff as a young person. I don't have time for it anymore as the excuse. But I think in my heart of hearts, deep down, I've always been a little bit enamored with the idea of somebody being as talented as he was for like 18,000 straight days or whatever it was, to draw a cartoon that is entertaining and then draw it well. Okay, so anyway, but the guy himself and everything about it, I'm fascinated by all of it, by him, by the Peanuts comic strip, everything. Charlie Brown, Snoopy, all of it. Well, Beaver, think about the television specials
Okay, that are the number one and number two Peanuts, Charlie Brown television specials that have ever been made. All right, number one, A Charlie Brown Christmas. And number two, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Beaver, I was listening to an interview one time that Charles Schultz gave before he passed away in 2000, so 25 years ago. And he was explaining how he came up with the idea of that, the Great Pumpkin thing. Are you familiar with the story at all?
So I got to admit to you that I have actually never seen it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, you've never seen it. Okay. Well, you don't have to have seen it this goes with what you were saying, though. He said that the way he came up with this idea was he imagined a kid, okay, who was one holiday early on the calendar. And so instead of Santa Claus at Christmas being the one who brings the gifts or whatever, he said the idea was this kid's thinking it's Halloween. He said, and so naturally then, if something's going to show up and bring you gifts on Halloween, what's it going to be? Okay, he said, I came up with the Great Pumpkin. And then it dawned on me. Charles Schultz totally skipped over Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving would have been the nearest one to Christmas, the one before Christmas. He didn't do Thanksgiving. He did Halloween first. Anyhow, he skipped it too, Beef. Even Charles Schultz, the great Charles Schultz, initially skipped over Thanksgiving. Now, and I know, don't think it's lost on me, Beaver, why you're a little sensitive to people who skip over Thanksgiving stuff. I know where you're coming from. It's because that's your birthday. And to everybody listening, there's your reminder that Beaver's birthday this year is on Thanksgiving. Am I in the ballpark?
It is.
Am I in the ballpark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't really thought of it that way, but I'll certainly go with it.
Okay.
Now, this year.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's start the show now. Let's see if there's any sports y'all want to get into. I'll see. Well, first up, though, is weather. Weather always trumps everything else. Gene on Facebook said it's raining cats and dogs in the Berg. Well, it did that in Tupelo last night and overnight. It knocked our power out again like at 2 a.m. They got it back on. Well, the Hail State fan said, I saw Halloween decorations up 2 weeks ago. There should be laws and rules about this. Wait a minute. Hail State fan, you're saying that 2 weeks ago, early September, you saw Halloween decorations up like outside of someone's house or something? Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's way too early for that kind of stuff. I mean, it's one thing to get some candy corn and eat it. It's another thing to go putting those spiders and spider webs up on the outside of your house. Okay, look, this is a good reminder, I think. We were talking about calling the show a minute ago on the Junction phone line. Junction Delis. Food for your bellies. Across the state, you can also put some fuel in your gas tank. Fueled by Prince Oil Company. The number to call, 897-1059. And Jared said, and when you call in, turn your radio down, listen through the phone, and please no speakerphone. We thank you for your support. Well, yeah, Jared, thanks for bringing it up. You know, I don't harp on it anymore because I got to the point where I kind of got tired of doing it, and it felt like I was, you know, being like the principal in school, you know, getting on to everybody for something. So I stopped harping on it. But now there's nothing wrong with y'all bringing it up. So again, and this would go for any radio show. If you're someone who listens to live anything that gives you the opportunity to take your phone and call in, this show or any others, please, whenever possible, turn your radio off or down, call, put the phone to your ear, talk through that, and do not use speakerphone because it is really hard to hear on our end. It's hard to hear. And it makes it even harder on you on your end to hear us. State Grad 98 texts the show. He says, let me be the first to wish y'all a happy 4th of July. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? Nick texted the show. He said, my kids were in the pool last weekend. Now it's raining and going to be in the 50s Saturday. Summer is gone. I'm in shambles. I mean, it is. It's going to get down in the 50s in parts of the state, like overnight, Friday night. Okay, and Bama fan says, and I wonder why. He goes, prediction for the game. And I'll back up too. Yesterday, he predicted Alabama to beat Georgia 38-28. I actually disagreed. I think Georgia wins. He then predicted Ole Miss to beat LSU 24-21. I agree with Ole Miss winning that. I think they may win it by a bigger margin than that. And then he predicted Mississippi State to upset Tennessee 35-27. And then he said, Matt, I'll say one thing. Cowbells. Yeah, so Bama fan is what you're saying is the atmosphere is going to rattle Tennessee and therefore they'll hold them to 27 points. Because I'm just telling you, again, based on what we know about Tennessee's offense, the same thing I said a couple of days ago. If State's defense holds Tennessee to under 30 points, that will be one heck of a defensive performance. That's how good Tennessee is on offense, but you know, they've lit everybody up they've played, including Georgia. Scored 41 against Georgia. So if you hold, if State, you talk about a major, major, major key to victory. If State were to hold Tennessee under 30 points, I'll be flabbergasted in a good way if that's what we see. Hey, and on the cowbells, y'all, listen up. Where's my cow? I got one. Here, hang on. I have to be able to, I got to reach it. Here goes. All right, so speaking of the cowbells, heed my warning. Take heed. Heed. That's a whole different kind of heed.
Get out of my head.
I knew it. Look at him. Looks like Sputnik. He's going to cry himself to sleep on his huge pillow. But anyway, no, heed my warning. Folks, State fans, you and I will be in the stadium together. I will not be in a position to ring. I'll have a microphone in my face. But you will. You, everyone that's in contact with you, and the people that you see, remind each other, ring responsibly. This is very important. It is a very important message that's got to get passed on. Here's another thing. The last time that the ring responsibly thing became a big deal was, it was 15 years ago or close to it. So you do have a whole new crop of students in the student section that have it's never really been emphasized to them adamantly how important it is to follow that rule and ring responsibly, which means ring until your heart's content anytime during the game, except when the opposing team is about to run a play and the center then gets over the football. Once he does, you got to put the bell down and just yell. Just listen to what I'm saying. For the betterment of everybody, just ring responsibly. Conference play is a whole different animal. And that's what's about to start for State. It's all these SEC games coming up, right? It's different in the non-conference. But the conference play coming up, ring responsibly. Pass it on. Let's just do it. You've done it before. I remember when they put that thing in. Again, it was like, was it 2012, 11 or 12, somewhere in there, maybe around 2012, when it became a thing, and it's like, this is the first year we're really doing a push and educating the fan base. We're going to ring responsibly, and I was a doubter. I remember telling Scott Strickland, it ain't working. That ain't. If you think that all these State fans they're going to ring like crazy, and then as soon as the opposing center gets to the football, they're just going to stop and yell, I just don't think it'll ever happen. And doggone, the first game it happened. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They nailed it. And so you got to go back and start nailing it again, especially with conference play coming on. Just trust me on that, okay? So pass the word. Emphasize. Is it a big deal? Yeah, but you've done it before. It's not a big deal. Ring like crazy. Center goes over the ball. Put the bell down. Just scream and holler. As soon as the play's over, ring till your heart's content. You force a fumble and you recover it. Get loud. Ring your bell. Just not while they're over the center trying to snap the ball. Nunya texted the show. State will need 2 interceptions to win. I like where your head's at, Nunya. I really do. You're going to need to probably cause some turnovers for Tennessee. I mean, you probably are. You're also, you're going to need to have those explosive plays on offense if you're Blake Shapen in State. That's kind of who they are. You look at the first 4 games, what are they? Score from a long ways out. I should probably be able to look it up. I haven't done it yet. I don't know if I can do it on the fly and still carry on a radio show because I am a man and I have one of these one-track minds. I can only do one thing at a time. I can't focus on one thing with my eyes and my brain and have my mouth going on about something else, So what I was going to say is I need to look. How many scoring drives has Mississippi State put together this year that took them 10 plays or more? I don't think there's very many at all. I'm going to look it up and see, but I don't think there's been very many scoring drives that took them double-digit plays to get it done. I'll see what I can find out in the break. All right, headlines are coming up right after this when we come back, and then we'll roll along here with you on this Wednesday. Your comments, your messages coming up. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire.
My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Ogeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roast it right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, try it.
And coming to you worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Yeah, hey, JS290, it must be this stuff up here. Watching these games on this deal. If it does it again, I don't know. I'll figure something out. YouTube doesn't like it being on while I'm live streaming. That's fine. It's their platform. They can do what they want. So I'll have to adjust if it keeps doing that. But hey, give me a quick heads up if you do see it again, because you'll see it much quicker than I will. What I'm saying is if the live stream gets interrupted. Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. It was Nunya on the Country Pleasing text line who said State's going to need 2 interceptions to win. We're talking about what they're going to need to win. You know, turnovers on defense. And then the explosive pass plays on offense. Score from a long ways out. They're going to have some of that because you know what? 4-0, State has not been an offense that was going to march it right on down the field. They have not been an offense that was going to do that. And this is what I looked up and found. I looked up all the stats for all 4 of their games so far. And all these touchdown drives in the games. Twice in 4 games has State had a touchdown drive that took them 10 or more plays. Another way to say it, all but 2 of State's touchdown drives this year have been less than 10 plays to get it in the end zone. So they have not been an offense that either has had to or has been able to just march, 12 plays, 13 plays, 14, 15 plays, and then stick it in the end zone. It's not been it. It's been a whole lot of, get a first down, go real fast, boom, up the field, 1 big home run, we're in the end zone. 4 plays, 6 plays, 7, a lot of 7-play touchdown drives, stuff like that. Something to consider. Patches text the show, says this weekend will bring a lot of fans back down to reality, I do believe. Well, maybe so. I'm excited to watch them play and just kind of see what it's going to look like against a team like Tennessee. Tennessee, for all intents and purposes, should win the game. All right, stop. Back up. Did you hear what I just said? Again, I don't want to be preachy. I am not a teacher, but this is one thing I do notice. If you listen to this show, maybe we could all be educated on this together. That phrase, all intents and purposes, it is not for all intensive purposes, which you will hear a lot of people say, for all intensive purposes. That ain't it. That's not what they're saying. It's not what it's meant to say. That makes no sense. The phrase is for all intents and purposes. Got it. Hey, real quick, headlines. Here we go.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank right here in Mississippi. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. That's mortgagemanms.com. Headline number one. The Giants are benching Russell Wilson. They will start Jackson Dart. They're going to start Dart. Told you it would happen. It's happening 4 weeks into the season. And that'll be pretty much it. He'll be their starter going forward. I pretty much guarantee it. Headline number two, Tom Brady is pushing back against these people who are saying that there's this massive conflict of interest with his broadcasting and his part ownership of the Raiders. He sends out a newsletter. Today it went out. He wrote that only the, quote, paranoid and distrustful, end quote, believe that there is a conflict in his roles as the minority owner of the Raiders as well as a broadcaster covering other teams. And then finally, Alabama's 𝐷𝐻 Latham has suffered a neck injury in practice. And so the linebacker is being evaluated at a Birmingham hospital. It happened yesterday, and you're still waiting on word today. Now, Alabama's been banged up. You know, offensive line, defensive line. Now they're going to Georgia this weekend. I think Georgia wins it. But now another one. So now another linebacker, neck injury in practice. Makes you wonder. And those are your headlines brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank right here in Mississippi. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. All right, flip it over to the Junction phone. Junction delis across the state, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling central Mississippi for a lot of years. 1960, that's going way back. Fuel in your vehicle, fuel in your stomach in there in the deli. Fuel in your belly in the deli. All right, over to line one, it's Rooster. What's up, Rooster?
Well, happy hump day.
Happy hump day. Yep, you're loud and clear. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not on speaker.
Adam.
I can't hear you. Now, I want to kind of correct you, but you don't want to make the picks on Wednesday. You want to wait till Friday.
Okay.
The line's going to change. The lines want to, so you'd like to do it Saturday morning. That's probably too late.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. So let's differentiate. For those who are gambling or looking at it that way, or you're looking at the line on the game, then yeah. What I was talking about for me is I just pick who I think is going to win and what I think the score is going to be. I've actually done a pretty decent job of that.
Well, no, you wait till the last minute because you don't know about injuries. You know.
Well, that's true. That is true.
You have to scout yourself. They're not going to tell you.
Yeah, okay.
You got to dig around. That's what you do when you bet.
Hey, remind me what it was you said last week about the UAB Tennessee game.
I said the odds are, if you take the bump, it was a 39.5-point spread. So if I take the bump at 6 points, that means they got to lose by 45. The odds on that are 9 out of 10. If it doesn't happen, no matter who it is.
Gotcha.
And of course, they were down 35-0, and then Tennessee called the dogs off. I won the bet easily.
Yeah, and that's right. It wound up. Okay, you said it, 56-24, so a 32-point margin there.
Right. I had a 13-point cushion. So you take the bump. That's the way to bet. And you wait till Friday or Saturday morning to place that bet when you know all you can. Just play the averages.
Okay.
So I won. And, of course, I'm betting my heart. I'm betting against Auburn, which is stupid. I shouldn't do that. But I don't like you fleas, so I bet against Auburn. So far, I'm winning. It's not letting me down. And same thing this weekend. Take the opponent. I don't care who Auburn plays. Take the opponent and the spread.
Okay.
Please, we'll screw it up. But, yeah, I won on the Tennessee. I thought, hey, come on. But, I like Trent, too. I like the coach. I hope they don't fire him. I hope they keep him. But it's going to be tough to keep his job. It sure is. They want a winner. But, yeah, I won on because of the just kind of strange to pick somebody to lose by 40 points.
Yeah, okay.
So jump all over that.
All right.
But I want to wait till Friday to make the pick so I know more information.
Okay.
And what the line is. It may change. Most of the time it doesn't, but it might. You know.
Right.
Depends on
Okay.
who's betting.
Okay. All
But
right.
Tennessee and Mississippi State, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to bet against the Dogs. But it could be a blowout. It sure could.
Yeah.
Got an outstanding team.
Yep, they do.
So
I
we'll see. Yeah,
I thought they were going to beat
10
Georgia.
points, I would be happy with that. But I'm not supposed to use State to pick, because I'm not going to ever bet against the Dogs, no matter what.
Okay.
Even when it's a good old Rebel. No, that's not going to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, you want to wait as late as you can before you make your prediction, particularly if you're a gambler. You want to wait until the last minute when you know what you can and see what the spread is.
Okay.
If you bet smart, you'll always bet that bump, bet that 6-point teaser, because you got a cushion. That's what the gambler should do. The odds aren't that great. It's about a 50-50. But you'll win. You'll feel like a hero. You'll win with that bump. So
Yeah. Okay.
whatever, that's my gambling tip, because I'm not a gambler, no. I bet very, very small amount. So, but it's going to be an interesting season. I missed to talk about the SEC picks, but are we happy with that?
You talking about the teams you're going to play?
Yeah, the automatic.
Yeah. I am. I mean, I think for State, you get Alabama, and it's a 4-year thing, so you're stuck with Alabama for the next 4 years beginning next year. But I think, they're great, and you're not going to beat them that much very often, once every 20 years, something like that. Okay, fine, but they ought to play each other. I mean, it just makes sense to me. And then for State to then on the other side, flip side of that, get Vandy. It's like if you're going to get Alabama as one of your permanents, they give you Vandy on the other side. I know Vandy's good right now. And then the Ole Miss thing. So it just seems right to me what they did for State. The 3 head scratchers for me, Rooster, was one when they gave Ole Miss Oklahoma. They didn't do Tennessee and Georgia, and they did not do Alabama and LSU. But other than that, I thought it all made sense.
Yeah, big too. I'm excited.
Yep.
Because what I want to see, because I'm happy with the 9 games, but whatever's worth, I wanted to see a West Division, East Division.
I know, yeah.
Alabama, Auburn in the East, Ole Miss, LSU, Mississippi State in the West.
Yeah.
Along with Oklahoma, Texas, and
Hey,
I guess Missouri and A&M.
Rooster, the music has started. I appreciate the call. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right. Happy hump day to you. All right. Call me, text me, comment on the live stream. We'll get to them next. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Delis, Convenience Redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960s, pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton, we say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country-pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball.
Talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Let's see. Craig says on YouTube, LSU and Ole Miss game has huge playoff implications. I predict it to be a barn burner. Whoever wins. It's just a gut feeling. I can't sit here and profess to be someone that has watched every snap of every LSU and every Ole Miss game. I have not. So it's snippets here and there, a little here and there. I actually probably saw more of LSU games than Ole Miss games to this point, more of them. But so it's a little bit of that, a few highlight packages, and then looking at box scores and that kind of thing. But it's in Oxford, and it has this feeling of one offense is much better than the other. Like there being a lot of equal and even elsewhere among the two teams, defense, defensive line, pressure, defensive backfields, that sort of thing. But then home field advantage, and I think it's the Ole Miss offense that has the look of being better. And so I would think that makes probably the difference in the game. But, the Ole Miss LSU thing, it's screwy. Crazy stuff happens or seems to happen in that deal. Craig also said the winner of the Penn State-Oregon game could decide who gets a spot in the Big Ten title game. So I see where you're going with that is here we are in week 5 and already major implications on stuff. I mean, and it's true. Especially you start getting deeper and deeper in conference play. For sure. CB95 on the country pleasing text line says, if State wins at least 3 SEC games, those teams will push to rid us of the cowbell like it's an unpaid advantage in the age of paying players. Yeah. Well, look, CB95. Let me let you in on a little secret. Every single year, every single SEC team complains to the conference about State's cowbells. What about last year when State was 2-10? Yeah, every one of them complained about the cowbells. What about the year before that when it was interim coach after Mike Leach died? Yep, every SEC team, every single year, complains to the conference about the cowbells. Period. Coach Spate texts the show. He says, do you think we will see Taylor anymore this season? He's played his 4 games for the red shirt. Huh. Well, it's a good question. Yeah, I think we will. I think we will. You know, the caveat being that I think it will depend on how some of the games are going. I don't have any inside information. You know, for all I know, they have decided that a blowout either way. If you're blowing somebody out, he's going to play. And if you get blown out at the end of the game, he's going into play. For all I know. I don't know that. But let me give you the hypothetical. Like, let's just say one like this, where you got a top 10 team coming in who it's a great team, right? And let's say everything falls your way and you force some mistakes and offensively you hit some big plays and you're in the fourth quarter and you've got a chance to win the game and you're down by 2 and you're on the goal line. I wouldn't be surprised at all that it doesn't matter. He goes in and he runs the ball or is a threat to run the ball and pull it and throw and they have to defend all that. You know, in your short yardage leverage situation stuff. Yeah. Chris is asking if Kamario Taylor played in the Arizona State game. Did he have a snap or 2? Short yardage stuff? I could probably find the participation chart here. Let me just see if I can find it. What did y'all think about that, though? Maybe you weren't surprised, but when I looked it up earlier, in all 4 games for State, all these touchdown drives, 60 points in one game, 38 this past week. You know what I mean? Of course, you only had 3 touchdown drives against Arizona State. State has had a grand total of 2 touchdown drives all year that lasted for 10 plays or more. All the other touchdown drives have struck quicker than 10 plays. Now, they have had 2 field goal drives that were more than 10 plays, but we were talking about touchdowns. So let's see here. Arizona State game, does it give us? No, we get a list of starters, but I don't know if I get, without going to the game notes, a full participation chart. So I'll have to keep looking for it. Did he show up in the stats? Let me see here. Okay, so yeah, he's not credited with a carry in the Arizona State game or a passing attempt. So maybe he didn't. Jason in Flagstaff texted the show. He's out in Arizona. He says, Tennessee should win this game going away. Arizona State should have 2 on paper. He says, but hit a big play or something early. Get the crowd going. Mashed potato brain the opposing QB. Who knows? It is true. It has happened before. So, I don't know. Louvier, he texted the show. He says, after 3 weeks of the professional tackle football games, I'm not as confident about my predictions the Saints will win the Super Bowl. But there's still a chance. Yeah. Nothing wrong with being positive, Louvier. The question is, who's worse? The Saints, the Falcons, or the Cowboys? Those are the questions right there. Bama fan texted the show, says, Matt, I'm just trying to figure out how you fire a coach mid-season that is 170-91 at your school. He says Mike Gundy should not have been fired. He's talking about at Oklahoma State. Yeah, they're good and terrible this year, right? Maybe there's just this regression thing. At the risk of seeing somebody getting fired and then it looking like I'm rushing to go pile this on to my argument I was making, I don't think that's what I'm doing here. But they're 1-2. The 2 losses to Oregon and then, of course, lost to Tulsa. And their win was over UT Martin. He didn't look great in that one. But Bama fan, here's what I've been saying. Coaches are going to be handled differently in this pay-for-play era that we're in right now in college football. Coaches are going to be handled differently. And what do you mean by that? Well, it can mean several things. Like one example could be you're going to have some teams and programs out there. Watch what I'm telling you, Bama fan. We're really on the front end of it, of some of these major jobs coming open, starting to. Maybe Arkansas, we'll see. I don't know. But what some of these schools and administrations are going to do is this. They're going to go, do not care one bit about hiring some big-name coach that's going to come in here and automatically want $8, $9, $10 million a year. No, that's $6 or $7 million at least that we could be spending on players. You're like, well, how do you do that? Because you pay the coaches out of this, that. Trust me. That foundation thing that's over there where the money is, a lot of it's coming to pay that coach. Yeah, we can pay those players with that. We can buy a team with that. Okay, so the days of the hiring on the front end, the $8, $9 million coach, that's over. And if you have a $7, $8, $9 million coach and it's going the wrong direction, that you talk about a short leash. Well, what about buyouts? Well, what I'm saying is watch the contracts that start to pop up. You're going to see more and more and more. You're going to see younger coaches that don't have any sort of resume to leverage, that their agent can leverage in negotiations, that are happy to get the jobs, that very well may do a good job, that will cost pennies on the dollar of what you're going to have to pay some of these older guys. And all those savings are going, quote unquote, somewhere else. What did Auburn just do with basketball? Did you notice that yesterday? The situation I just described, that's Auburn basketball. Now, I know it's Bruce Pearl's son, but look at what they did. With what Auburn basketball knows they will have to spend on players in order to win a SEC and national championship, you think they're interested in going and hiring a John Calipari and paying him $5 million a year? Absolutely not. Pay the young guy. Cost you pennies on the dollar, may do a good job, have a chance to win, because we're going to buy players with that money, not coaches. They're going to have shorter leashes. They're going to have shorter contracts. And the days of spending mucho dinero on these high-dollar coaches is coming to an end. At least the way we know it and have known it. Hour 2 coming up. Back after this.
It doesn't matter that business took you 1,000 miles from home.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Here's Comedians and Sketchers Getting Comfortable, presented by Hands Free Skechers Slip-Ins.
Hey, I'm Bobby Slayton, and I'm here with my pal, comedian, and Skechers ambassador, Mr. Howie Mandel.
Why did it take so long to invent something as amazing as Slip-Ins? I know it seems simple, but it took Skechers to invent a better pair of shoes.
Yep, with Skechers Slip-Ins, you just step in and go. You don't have to touch your shoes. And by the way, Slip-Ins are for the whole family. Men, women.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local.
1059 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
At thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. Thankfully, you are here. Anybody find that out? Did Kamario Taylor play against Arizona State, or did we miss that? See, I was thinking that he did, but then in the stats, he doesn't have credit for a carry or anything. So, I don't know how that works. Here's a question for you. Hypothetical. Kid goes into the game. Let's say it's on a 4th down. He runs a play, but there's a penalty on the defense. You accept the penalty, awarding you the 1st down. Did he still play in the game or not, if that's the only play he was in for? Or since the play didn't go in the official stats because there was a penalty that you accepted, does that mean he didn't play in the game? Man, that's one of the best questions I've ever come up with. I think. You think? Let's see, JS290, he commented here on YouTube. He said, State and Georgia Tech setting baseline on roster spending. Multiples of this baseline may not get significantly more wins. I see what you mean. Like, you're talking about year after year baseline. Like, if you're going to have to spend, what, a total of between 18 and 20 million baseline? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I could agree with that. It's just, it all still feels new. It's like I'm trying to figure it all out. And then they don't publish, nothing is published as to exactly what anybody's spending anyway. That, it seems like if you knew that, that would help everyone, right? Maybe they don't want everybody to know that, particularly the ones that are spending 25 and 30 and $35 million on their roster. Sven commented, what's up, Sven? He said, Vol's going down Saturday. He said, it's a natural law. Heupel always loses one game on the road a year. Does he really? All right, Sven, I got to check it out. How long has Josh Heupel been the coach at Tennessee? I'll tell you. He's been the coach at Tennessee since 21. So we're talking 21, 22, 23, and then 24. So 4. So this is his 5th season at Tennessee. All right. Okay. So let's go back and look. So, yeah. Sven, all right. So Heupel's been there 5 years. Okay, so let's look at schedule. Let's look at 2024. A road loss at Arkansas, 19-14 loss last year for Tennessee. Head scratcher. Also had a road loss at Georgia. Got whipped up on pretty good, 31-17. 2 years ago, 2023. 3rd week of the year, they went to Florida, lost 29-16. Later went to Alabama, lost that one. Late in the year, went to Missouri and lost that one, 36-7. That was 2023. 2022, that would have been Heupel's 2nd year. Late in they had a great start to the year. Late, had the road loss at Georgia. 2 weeks later, went to South Carolina and lost, giving up 63 points, 63-38. And then 2021, which would have been his 1st year at Georgia. Week 4, they went to Florida and lost 39-14. A few weeks later, went to Alabama, lost 52-24. That was when Alabama was blowing and going. So, yeah, they've had some. And what? Over that time, the head scratchers would have been last year's loss at Arkansas, and then what? maybe that one in there to Missouri, and then one trip to South Carolina, giving up 60 points. You're right, Sven. They've done that. So basically, you say it another way is, if this is the year that Tennessee doesn't have some inexplicable road loss, it'll be the first time since Heupel's been the coach. Okay, and I'm going back here. This is a question that Craig, was it Craig? No, it was Coach Spate, brought up on the Country Pleasing text line about Kamario Taylor redshirting. You keep playing him. You know, for me, like, the times that they've had him in there on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, goal line stuff, he's looked so good, and it's such a whole different element you have to defend. I mean, Blake really runs the ball well, but he's not a threat to lower the shoulder and really run over anybody. You know, the other day against Northern Illinois, I think it was a 4th down play, Kamario runs the ball, and a poor free safety came up in there and just got trucked by this 230-pound quarterback. So that's a whole different thing, right? And I'm like, if that's your best option to get it in, you get on the goal line, you got to play him. You know, to heck with redshirting. Jared says, if you have a 3rd or 4th and short goal this Saturday and you can score, keep the ball, keep Tennessee offense on the sideline, whatever, you have to do it. Play anyone and everyone that gives you a chance to win. That's how Yeah, Jared. I mean, look, in the transfer era, there's no such thing as we need him, but we desperately need him to redshirt. No, you don't. He said most fans want to redshirt Taylor, hoping to get 5 years out of him like another Dak. I'm going to say it loud for y'all in the back. Everybody listen up. If he reaches his potential, he'll be in the NFL in 3 to 4 years. Doesn't matter what you do, nor what you want. You only hurt yourself by not using him for the rest of the year. Tremendous talent. He does not have a ceiling. Now, you know, whether it comes together and gets on the field and produces and signs with an NFL team, that's all up to him. I mean, none of that's a given just because you're uber talented. But from a talent standpoint, he does not have a ceiling. I'm just telling you, they have not had very many putting on a maroon and white uniform, going out there and playing quarterback like that guy. They have not had it. You're right. You're not going to have him long anyway. Okay, Jason's telling me that Kamario Taylor's ESPN page does not show that he played in the Arizona State game. Okay, so that would mean he's only had 3 games he's participated in to this point. So this would be the 4th. So that really answers that right there anyway. See, and look, you know, you never say never, Sven, right? Kamario's close to home and loves it there. Always wanted to play at State. You know, his uncle played quarterback there, Omar Connor. But Sven says, or he pulls a Van Buren. See, that's the thing. That's the other thing you never know. You talk about redshirt and saving people as a coach. You never know that. And, you know, 1 year, gone. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be Mississippi State or you could be Ohio State. Your best players are going to get phone calls and offers to transfer for more money in the offseason. All of them. I don't hear anything about any coach at any school standing on any stump about, you know, we're going to turn them in and tampering. Because guess what? You're doing it too. You got folks doing it too. Everybody does. So you might as well just live with it. Until you have a governing body who can actually physically govern, then, you know, and enforce, then it is what it is. This way it is. All right, listen. You're curious what Josh Heupel might be saying ahead of this ball game on Saturday? Tennessee's coach. Here's a little bit of the Tennessee Volunteers head coach press conference.
Getting ready for a big football game against a team that's playing really well, offensively, defensively. Got really good personnel on special teams as well. know it'll be a great environment, whiteout down there. For us, we got to win with our preparation and get ready to go play a really good football team on the road, and going to be a great environment and look forward to playing. So I'll open it up.
When you look back at last year's game and what Jeff had then and what they've been able to do this year to this point, where have they grown in the last year?
Yeah, well, I think their entire roster, they're deeper than they were a year ago. Their young guys that they had a year ago have continued to develop. They're playing extremely well. They obviously added some bodies through the portal as well, and I think collectively their personnel's much further developed than it was a year ago. Understanding of their systems is much better, and that's why they're playing the way that they are defensively. One of the top in our league in a lot of different categories offensively, playing extremely efficient, but also creating a bunch of big plays in the pass game, and their special teams have done a really nice job.
Okay, that was an accurate answer. I don't think it's not just blowing smoke, because the first thing out of Heupel's mouth is, they in the transfer portal they added a whole bunch of depth. Really, when you stop and think about it, look at State's program and the steps you got to make to get where Tennessee and the LSU's are. Okay, well, yeah, line of scrimmage, right? You gotta go out and you got to pay a whole bunch of great linemen to come play for you. But the first step from last year to this is what they did. It is you're selling playing time, and so you use the contacts and evaluate as best you can. You got a GM, coaching staff's in on it too. But the biggest thing is there may be one or two in there that some might tell you is a little bit of a reach. But the thing is, you're also adding depth. So that's one huge, huge difference. I've even in my head sort of specifically had parts of that Tennessee game last year in Knoxville in mind, pictures from that game in mind when I was watching, like Deontay Anderson at defensive end, who I think he was a second-year player last year. Joseph Head, who was 1 year removed from high school. He's a true freshman, playing snap after snap after snap after snap after snap, playing 50-something plays on a defensive line in Neyland Stadium against their offense last year. And the thing that sort of kept that game from just, being what all the other games were was how bad the Tennessee quarterback was playing last year. If he's playing well, they just didn't have any depth. Well, now they have depth. You're not saying, and Heupel knows it. You notice the first thing out of his mouth was not, oh boy, they have some magnificent pass rushers. If Will Whitson was healthy, maybe he talks about him. But he did say, the first thing out of his mouth, well, they got depth, because he's watching the film and knows that's probably the biggest difference. Last year's team to this, there's some other differences, sure. But the biggest difference last year to this, and he knows it, is that, man, they got a bunch of offensive linemen. They've even gotten injuries. They're still okay. And they rotate a bunch of defensive linemen in and out. He's touching on that. More from Heupel.
They're not ranked, but they are undefeated, a 4-0 record. Does that look tricky to you at all? And a 3-4 defense, that's new to you. So what do you?
Yeah, we went against them a year ago, schematically, not entirely different. They've continued to add things to it. Their personnel's playing extremely well. There's nothing tricky about going down there and playing this football team. It's a really good football team. You can see that on the tape in all three phases of the game. You look at the quality of the wins that they've had, beating Arizona State. It's the next test. In this league, you better show up every Saturday ready to play.
All right, I'll pause that. So here's what I hear Heupel saying right there. You can almost hear it in his voice. Listen, this is the second best team we've played to this point. Okay, we played Georgia already, hosted them. They beat us in over. This is basically what I'm picking up from Heupel. Played Georgia already. By far the best team we played. Probably the best in the country. Certainly one of the best. Should have beaten them. We score 41 points. We lose 44-41 in overtime. But this is the second best team we will have played, and we got to go down there. That's what he's saying. Syracuse, ETSU they scored 72, and then put up 56 last week on UAB. This is the second best team we played. They are playing a lot better. They make plays on offense. So, here's a coach who he's like a modern day coach. He's not gushing, overly trying to sell to his fan base how great his opponent is this week. He's just telling you they're pretty good. Are they as good as Georgia? No. But, pretty good. Second best team we would have played to this point. That's basically what he's saying. Here's more from Heupel.
Through 4 games, where's your evaluation of your secondary? Where do you want to get better there?
Yeah, I thought we took a step in our communication this past week, in particular with, the guys that played early in the football game. Had a couple busts late. But overall, like our continued growth, but, the stress of this football game, formation variation, splits, and the tempo, we got to do a great job.
Where do you think you are tempo? How do you think that your defense is managed? What little bit of tempo you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, they see it throughout the course of the season at times. In general, we've handled it pretty well. They get a chance to see it on a day-to-day basis with us, too.
Coach, Chris Brazel leads the nation with 6 receiving touchdowns. How important is he going to be in this SEC matchup coming up?
Yeah, wide receivers in general are going to be really important in this one. That's guys working in the middle of the football field. It's out on the outside. They have a mixture of coverage, recognizing the structure and coverage that we're seeing will be important in this one. Chris, obviously, what he's done here in the first few ball games, really special. But all of us, him included, got to continue to grow and take another step here this week.
All right, let's listen to one more here and see what we get.
Jackson Moy, how close were we all seeing him return, and just, do you feel like he's trending in the right direction?
I knew it would be you, right? Jackson's continued to get better. Wednesday will be the official first injury report of the week, and then you can stay tuned from there.
Okay, so who's he talking about? He's talking about defensive lineman junior Jackson Moy. Apparently he's been out. I don't know everything about him. This is his senior year. He was hurt in the season opener against Syracuse. They're trying to get him back. Here's the thing to point out. So they're talking about some senior defensive lineman that they haven't had. And without him, Tennessee in 4 games has racked up 15 sacks as a defensive unit. 4 games, 15 sacks. The only team in the SEC with more is Oklahoma. They've got 16 sacks through 4 games. So, Tennessee just a hair under 4 sacks a game. Comparison, through 4 games, State has 5. Same number of games. State as a team has 5 sacks. Tennessee's got 15 sacks, 3 times as many. The only teams in the SEC with fewer sacks than State. State's got 5 in 4 games. Ole Miss has 4 sacks in 4 games, and Florida has 3 sacks in 4 games. And then there's Kentucky, Georgia, and Alabama, who have 5, 4, and 4 respectively, but they've only played 3 games. But Tennessee, second in the league, 15 sacks. And here they are this week trying to get at least one guy back. So that's really the game within the game. Like the overall of Tennessee's roster is more built over a longer period of time. They have spent more money on their players than State has theirs. All those kinds of things. They do have the first-year quarterback. He's going to go on the road, but great players around him. But the game within the game is the fact that Tennessee is a fire-breathing pass rush. And you wonder if that's not necessarily like the worst-case scenario from a matchup standpoint, because State's offense is a home run offense. It's not a 15-play grind it out, eliminate your pass rush offense. It's a, we may go backwards 2 out of 5 plays, but then we go over your head and we score. So it's a little bit of a high risk, high reward deal. So keeping Shapen from getting hit is a huge deal. Let's listen to that last Q&A here. Let's see what we get.
Josh, you had an older team last year who had kind of done the tour of SEC road trips. A lot of young guys now that haven't done a lot of SEC road games. What's your advice to those young guys about how to prepare and how to handle winning on the road?
Preparation's the key. That's true whether you're at home or on the road. Practicing well, continuing to dial into the details of the game plan and what you expect to see on the other side of the football, all the way up until kickoff. Really important. Road games, yeah, it's different because you're not playing in front of your fans, but you get between the white lines, it's 11 on 11, and being able to snap and clear, reset to the next play, and control the controllables. The ordinary, everyday things are what are really important on Saturdays in general, but certainly when you're on the road.
All right, so something to think about too. Tennessee is like Mississippi State in that they really want to go fast on offense when they can. After a big play, they'll go really fast. After a first down, sometimes they'll go really fast. And so as that pertains to the crowd noise, that's one way that these hurry-up offenses do keep opposing road fan bases sort of hushed and out of the game. At times as they just go so fast. From a cowbell standpoint, there's an increased emphasis now going into conference play for the fans and for the students to ring responsibly. So as soon as the opposing center gets over the football with his hand and could snap it, you got to stop ringing and yell. Well, the thing is, if they're going really fast, the first guy to line back up is the center usually anyway, when they're in the hurry up mode. And so that may eliminate some of the cowbell noise when Tennessee is on offense anyway, if we're being honest about it. All right. Rolling along with you here on this Wednesday in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille. It's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960s, pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand new
and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go with the home team. Earlier, we were talking about Taylor. Sven said when Ohio State calls and offers him $6 million a year, he's gone. Our state matches it. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Will said, Quinn Ewers was at Ohio State for a season and he transferred. Now, regarding the ring responsibly with the cowbells, JS290 says, can you start ringing again once the ball is snapped? I do believe you can, maybe. I think so. Don't quote me on that, though. I don't want to speak out of turn. Maybe I should ask somebody who does know. We'll find out. Jason in Flagstaff, he texted us on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776. 601 number, 885-3776. Jason says, depth is the difference between top of the SEC and top of the other conferences. Completely different animal than Arizona State was. Says their second team and injury replacements aren't going to have nearly the talent drop off. You're talking about Tennessee, for example, Jason? Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, that's it. It's going to be interesting too, Jason, isn't it, to get to the end of the year and see it all sort of shake out in the first year of the 12-team playoff. And, you'll see who's in, but also leading up to the final weeks, including the conference championship games, you're going to know who the major groups of teams that are competing for those final spots are, plus the teams that are already in by a mile. That's one aspect of this whole 12-team playoff thing that I haven't heard anybody discuss it, Jason. Depth being the deal. And quality depth. What is it going to look like in the last couple of weeks of the year when you have some teams that have locked it up like it's a done deal? For example, huge rivalry games before Thanksgiving. Georgia and Georgia Tech. Texas and Texas A&M. These are the last weekend. Let's see. Oregon plays Washington. Let's do that one. Now, right now, Washington is 3-0. And that's wins over Colorado State, UC Davis, and Washington State. They just whipped Washington State. They got Ohio State coming up this week. Later, they've got Michigan. And then, you've got Maryland in there who's better, and they do play Illinois, all this. But let's just say that after a 3-0 start, Jason, hypothetical, let's say Washington kind of just flounders out there and maybe they're sitting there with 6 or 7 wins in the last week. They're not in a playoff. They're just not, right? It's not that kind of thing. And here's Oregon. And let's say Oregon has run the table. Let's say Oregon is sitting there 11-0. Is it possible? Well, of course it is. It's the last week of the year. It's Thanksgiving weekend. And Oregon, they're 4-0 now. They beat Penn State this weekend. They beat Indiana. They beat Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, USC. And let's say Oregon is sitting there 11-0. How is Oregon going to approach that final regular season game against a Washington team who's, not going to be as good? And we're in our hypothetical situation. Is Oregon going to go, hey, listen, man. Okay, Big Ten, title game, okay, whatever, fine, whatever. But it's this playoff thing. And we got young players that we can get them some playing time. Some of them haven't even hit their 4 game for the red shirt. Sure, we want to have an undefeated season. That'd be great. But we're in the playoff. We could lose 65-0 today. We're in the playoff. And then everybody goes, yeah, well, seeding, though. If you lose that game, seeding. All right, what if 2 of your starting offensive linemen are a little banged up? Turned ankle, bad elbow. Could use more rest. What if 3 of your top 8 defensive linemen are bruised and they're playing through hurting? They could use another week. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this whole thing of managing your depth in the last couple of weeks of the regular season is something I think it could be a real thing by the time it rolls around. And we'll see some stuff we hadn't seen. I'm not going so far as to say players opting out, quote unquote, of regular season games. I don't think that. I think a lot of these quote unquote contracts on the pay for play side are going to take care of a lot of the opting out type of stuff. But I think there's some end of the year scenarios that are going to, we're going to hit it. We're going to run up against it for the first time. And it's going to be weird to see it. Will says, look at Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl, sitting there 11-0 against a 4-win Starkville team. Ole Miss rests their 2 deep, wins by 28, but doesn't cover the 28.5-point spread. Going to be a bad beat. Well, but Will, let's just, there's another what if. What if Ole Miss has had a miraculous, once in a lifetime season and they're undefeated going into the Egg Bowl or 1 loss or something, but it's to Georgia, right? And Ole Miss knows they're in. Who do they rest? How do they approach the Egg Bowl? I know it's bragging rights, it means something to the fan, but the team's in a playoff. You got to look at an extra game that you're going to have to play now, and a little bit different of a run through the postseason so your depth and whether you're being real or not. I'm just saying there's all kinds of scenarios that could play out that way. Another way to look at it would be this, Will. Look at Texas and Texas A&M. We're all sitting here saying that good old-fashioned competitiveness and good old-fashioned collegiate bragging rights trump everything else. And so no matter what the records are, when Texas and Texas A&M finally play each other here at the end of the year, it's going to be reviving this, blood feud on the field, and we're all going to get to watch. But is it? What I'm asking you is, what if they're both securely in the playoff? What if one is securely in and the other one isn't? We're going to run up on some scenarios like that we have never seen before in our lifetime in the sport of college football. And I don't think we really know yet how these teams and programs are going to react to it. Fred texted the show. He says, hey, Matt, regarding cowbells, Alabama turns up the stadium speakers while the opposition has the ball. That elephant trumpet's louder than any cowbell. Well, Fred, I don't know if, as far as like while the plays are going on, but no team or stadium is allowed to take speakers, point them towards the playing surface, and then pump in loud noise through the speakers to distract the opposing team on the field. That's against the rule too. Anybody that does that, they're breaking a rule. Jason, he said, yeah, I think Arizona State is probably done in that regard. They're down 10 guys already, not counting guys playing hurt. Depth will be a huge thing going forward, and nobody talks about it in quote-unquote analysis. Jason, think about this, though. Do you remember what Kenny Dillingham said in the early season? Now, he talked about it every week, but I remember it coming up in his press conference prior to the Mississippi State game. Kenny Dillingham said that this year he intentionally ran a less physical, less intense training camp for his team because he had so many veterans and all that. It was different than it was a year ago. And you had so many veterans. You had a team that had had some success, didn't feel like you were going to have to harp and coach effort and teach effort and crack that whip as much as they did before last season. Do you remember that? I specifically remember. I bet I could go back and find it. Basically said, we didn't have as physical and as intense of a training camp, and it was intentional on my part. And here they are going into week 5, and they are walking wounded. I cannot be convinced myself. I cannot be convinced that going light or backing off in any way helps you be more healthy. I think it has the opposite effect. You get banged up more. I think Arizona State's an example of that. All right. A little bit of time left with you here today on this Wednesday. I'm Matt, staying connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. Check them out at cspire.com and stick around. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Whee! Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea, grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roast it right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah.
So get in on the conversation and tell him what you think right now on the Zone 1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt. Is this true? Will says on YouTube, Matt, this past Sunday, Myles Garrett was beating the Green Bay offensive line so bad the linemen started yelling at Jordan Love to run when Garrett was about to get him. Maybe our line should take note. Run! Blake! Duck! Get down! Maybe. Man, 15 sacks for Tennessee in 4 games. 16 in 4 games for Oklahoma. Today's Wednesday. I've been working. This is not. I would love to have already had up a film study video on the YouTube channel after the NIU game, but man, that has not been in the cards with lots of other things. Lots of video and photo work going on for me in the Matt Wyatt media world. And including yesterday, I got to go to Shibuda, Mississippi. Have y'all ever been to Shibuda? There's a place down there that's got 300 acres of grapevines, basically muscadine vines down there. Yep. Can you even imagine 1,400 tons of muscadines a year? Anyhow, yeah, doing some things like that. And so it just has not been in the cards. But maybe today, tomorrow, I could do it. And I certainly will have time to do a film study after the Tennessee game. And I hope it's the kind of game where it's worth doing. More Bully texts the show. Good to hear from you. He said he's been to Shibuda. I tell you, man, the more I do, all over the state, whether it's going to the coast, going to the Delta, Northeast, Northwest, Central Mississippi, Central South, below I-20, whatever it is, you get off the highway, our state is just, it's underratedly beautiful. And particularly, like if you're like me and you find, in a lot of ways you find big open farmland, you find it beautiful in a lot of ways. And saw some things yesterday I'd never seen before. But anyway, what I'm saying is today begins my opportunity to maybe sit down and go back and watch a whole lot of Tennessee football. I've caught bits and pieces of it. So, I, like anybody else, can look at numbers, but that's still not the same as watching the whole game. So I definitely want to do that. All right. What do we got this weekend? Wait a minute. Today's Wednesday? It is. So tomorrow night we get Army and East Carolina. Interested in that? Isn't that an American game? Yeah, they're both in the American. East Carolina is 2-2. Army is 1-2. It's in Greenville. So tomorrow night is Army at East Carolina. Then, how about this? There's 2 ranked teams that are, for whatever that's worth, that are playing on Friday, including one of them is playing against Arizona State. So Friday night, 6 on the acronym, you get Florida State at Virginia. And then at 8 on Fox Friday night, you get TCU at Arizona State. Late on the acronym, out nearly all the way to Alaska. At 9:30 Central Time on the acronym, Houston is at Oregon State. The Beavers are 0-4 on the year. Man, bless their heart. Everybody left them when they had no conference, right? Or what was left. So they've lost to Cal 34-15, lost to Fresno State 36-27, lost to Texas Tech 45-14, and last week lost to Oregon 41-7. Bless their heart. So those are your Friday games. But the thing is, I don't know if many of us in Mississippi are going to see those, because Friday night's weather is going to be so lovely. It's going to be like overnight Friday night. It's in North Mississippi. It's going to get down in the 50s. So if you go to a high school game, like Friday, the high around North Mississippi anyway, I know it's like low 80s, 83, whatever. You're going to want to go sit out and watch a high school game. You might even have to wear long sleeves. Who knows? If you're like me and you're cold nature, get cold easy. All right, over to the phone line, the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. On line 1, it's More Bully. Hey, More Bully, what's up?
It's me. It's the MW.
Welcome.
Had to get you.
Welcome back.
Hey, man, I've traveled this state probably 7 times over, and I'm always going to try to chime in when you're talking about cities in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And I have been to Shibuda, but one of my funniest stories is in a previous position, I would have to travel around the state in these small little towns that were where farm food was grown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was this big strawberry patch in none other than Buckatona, Mississippi.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You know Buckatona?
I do know right where it is.
Okay. Good deal. So we turned right there by that store,
Mm-hmm.
went and got our strawberries, came back to that store to get some Gatorade and stuff. And Matt, above the cash register on that sheetrock wall is painted in maroon, and I quote, Buck Vegas.
How about that?
they're trying to take ownership of that, huh?
Hey, not only did I go to Shibuda, but I went through Pachuta.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And, you know, some history about me, Matt, is I can tell you pretty much most cities in Mississippi and Louisiana, the first 3 digits of their zip code. Because I worked at UPS for 7 years.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And I know a lot of zip codes and a lot of cities people don't know of. So that's my hidden talent, if you will.
How about that? Mine is similar but different. Growing up in Alabama, the car tags in Alabama car tags, they don't spell out what county you're from, but the number, the first number or the first 2 numbers
Yeah.
that indicates what county it is. So, for example, like Prattville, it's in Autauga County, Autauga, Autauga, so it starts with an A. Well, that's the number 4. It's the 4th on the list. The only difference are the first 3, like Birmingham, or I guess it's Jefferson County, is number 1. Mobile is number 2, and then Montgomery is number 3, the 3 biggest places. And then it starts alphabetically with the number 4. So, like, if you see the number 14 on an Alabama tag, the first 2 numbers are 14. Well, that's Chilton County. See, it starts with a C. If you see the number 7, well, that's Bibb County. It starts with a B. So they do it. It's kind of a fun game. When I was a kid, it'd pass the time. We'd making those trips to go see grandparents and stuff, figuring out who's from where.
Now, I don't think we do that here anymore, but there was something they used to do on our car tags, and they may still, maybe on personalized tags.
Yeah.
But the number of the county is on there too.
See, I didn't know that. I knew the word was on there. I just spelled it out. But
Yep, and I'm behind the car now and I can't see it. But we used to do it somehow on a vehicle.
Okay.
Sure did.
All right.
So there you go.
Okay.
Matt, happy Wednesday.
Yep.
Have a great weekend. Hail State.
Hail State. See you more, Bully. Thanks for the phone call. And good to hear from you. Let's see, on X, formerly Twitter, Chris said, have you hit on the Oklahoma quarterback Mateer being out, got to have surgery? No, I hadn't really talked about it much. I saw the news, don't know who the backup is at Oklahoma. Hate it for them, but didn't they say it's a hand and he's going to be coming back at some point in the year? I mean, it just is what it is. Everybody, you get hurt. People get hurt. You hate it, and it's just part of the game. People get hurt. Especially those quarterbacks who get hit a lot. Where was Auburn on that sacks list? I don't know if I still have the stats. I was going to look it up and see, but Oklahoma, number 1 in the SEC in sacks, 16 sacks in 4 games. Tennessee, number 2, 15 sacks in 4 games. Whew. I'll tell you what, man. That is getting after the opposing quarterback. So no wonder that was one of the first things out of Jeff Lebby's mouth when he was talking about the challenge that Tennessee is they're constantly harassing opposing quarterbacks, and we're really going to have to do a good job to keep Blake Shapen from getting hit a bunch. The good thing there, I guess you call it a silver lining, is if you're a State fan, is Shapen has played so much football. Older guy, been around the block umpteen times. And, those older guys just don't get as affected. They do get affected by contact and pressure, but not nearly to the extent that a lot of the young guys do. They just pop back up and keep going. Still go through the reads. If you get hit, you get hit. But my hope would be that, if you're a home run offense, which State has been, only 2 touchdown drives all year have taken 10 plays or more. You've been a quick strike home run offense. You don't have to be pretty. You just got to have about 3 or 4 times where you have enough time to heave it down the field and you catch it, and here we go. Anything can happen. All right, that'll wrap it up for this Wednesday. I appreciate y'all. That was fun. All the texts and the comments and the phone calls. Thanks. For Beaver, I'm Matt. All of us here on the show. See you tomorrow in the Bureau. See ya.